If you've been trying to get lean for years just to end up losing and regaining the same body fat over and over again, here's something you'll never hear on social media. You probably already know enough to get results, and the last thing you need right now is another diet or exercise hack. Actually, trying to find more fat loss tips at this point will do you more harm than good. And in this video, I'm gonna cut through all that nonsense and tell you something I wish someone told me when I first started. This will be the most honest advice for getting lean that you've heard in a long time. So here's the truth. If you want an above average result, whether that's getting to 10 to 15% body fat or losing 30 pounds or more, the process and the work required to achieve that is going to suck at some point. And not because you're doing it wrong, but because that is simply the reality of pursuing something difficult. How many people do you personally know in great shape at 10 to 15% body fat? You might be the fittest person in your peer group already. And here's the thing, there are a lot of videos on YouTube right now promising the quickest, easiest, and laziest way to get lean. Stuff like diets that delete your belly fat in a few weeks. It makes it seem like the reason why getting lean is so hard is because you just haven't found the right approach. And I got some news for you. That is called copywriting. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. I've been at 10 to 15% body fat now for 15 years, and I've coached over 1,000 men. And I can tell you, the process of getting lean sucks, and it's always uncomfortable. And the sooner you can accept that there's no way around the difficulty, the sooner you can stop wasting time on looking for shortcuts and start focusing on what really matters. Because what will get you lean hasn't changed in decades. The fundamentals have always been the same. You need to reduce your carbs and fats to create a sustainable calorie deficit, increase your protein, lift weights 3 to 4 times a week, get 8 to 12K steps a day, aim for at least 7 hours of sleep, hit the like button, and stay consistent for months and years, not weeks. These are the variables that drive real progress. The rest is a distraction. And there's no such thing as getting lean without restrictions. There's a cost to getting a result that is worth having. And this doesn't just apply to fat loss, this applies to anything meaningful in life. If you want to build a successful business or advance your career, there will be long periods where you sacrifice nights out, entertainment, and comfort so you can put that time into something that matters. The time to get ahead has to come from somewhere. When everyone else is enjoying themselves, you're sacrificing short-term pleasure for something that will pay off in the long run. And with work, most people understand that this is a part of the process of getting ahead in life, but they forget to apply the same framework to fitness. And if you're deep in the trenches of fat loss right now, one thing that's made a big difference for me to push through mentally is adopting a stoic mindset. There's a core idea in Stoicism called amor fati, love of fate. You treat difficulty as useful training data that will make you better, not something you need to escape. So anytime the cut starts to feel uncomfortable, I remind myself that I chose this, that it's making me mentally stronger. And instead of getting stuck in how hard it feels, I treat it like a challenge. The first time I got to 10% body fat, I realized that it was much more than just a physical transformation. It taught me a lot about self-discipline and how to delay gratification, which massively improved other areas of my life as well. And I get it, if you just overate, you fell off, the weight went up, and you're struggling to control your food intake, learning to respond in a productive way is easier said than done. Actually, if it was easy, everyone would be walking around with a six-pack. But this is a skill that can be learned over time, and you do get a lot better at it. In psychology, it's referred to as cognitive reappraisal. It's the ability to change your emotional response by choosing to interpret events in a more constructive way. For example, just because you're hungry doesn't mean you need a snack. It means the calorie deficit, it's doing its job. Hunger is not an emergency, it's a signal that your body's burning fat. Just because you don't feel like going to the gym doesn't mean you drop the standard and start skipping workouts. It just means you don't have momentum, and that's why it feels hard. Looking back, some of my all-time best workouts were on those days where I didn't feel like going to the gym. And honestly, if I only worked out when I felt like it, I'd never see results. And as time goes by, you realize most of these things are just your mind playing tricks because it prefers the status quo. Being at 25 to 30% body fat or higher isn't healthy or good for you, but for your mind, it's certain, it's familiar and safe. change is a much bigger risk. And that's the thing, our mind is a master storyteller. It will come up with the most convincing rationalizations to keep you in your comfort zone. It will find the perfect opportunity to break your momentum and prevent you from being consistent. And as someone who's worked with over 1,000 guys with different lifestyles, stress levels, and responsibilities, I can tell you that being consistent and getting results is not about what you do when you feel motivated. It's about what you do when you're not. It's learning to detach yourself from your emotional state and doing the work regardless of how it makes you feel. If you'd like to work with me to help you achieve your fitness goals, check out the coaching link in the description below, and I'll talk to you there.